Joining me now, Tim Pawlenty, former governor of Minnesota and former Republican presidential candidate. Governor, thank you for your time. Good to talk to you this morning. As you watch this from afar, I'm curious your thoughts on what is most concerning about the conference and the Republican Party, particularly in the House with all this infighting.
Well, Congress is often a lagging indicator of a lot of things, and these conferences are too. And in this case, this battle and this conflict and this tension is really sort of a lagging indicator of the tectonic shifts, the political tectonic plates having previously shifted underneath the ground of the Republican Party, playing itself out in an intra-Republican conference battle in Congress. And so obviously the Trump phenomena, the Trump party prevails at the grassroots level in the country. That's probably a majority of the members of Congress now, and they have to sort through how to balance that against the remaining traditional conservatives and moderates to try to get to the magic number to get a speaker.
Do you think it's more or less likely the nominee for House Speaker will be a MAGA Republican?
Well, I think that's going to be a big factor. I don't think that person can be only a MAGA Republican because then the moderates won't vote for him or her. But it has to be somebody who's at least acceptable to the MAGA Republicans. And I think a leading candidate for the reasons your segment just mentioned is my friend and Congressman Tom Emmer from Minnesota. I know him well. And he is somebody who could be kind of a hybrid candidate who could appeal to these various factions, maybe not ideally for some, but I think for the entire conference as a whole, maybe somebody that they can all compromise on.
Have you spoken to Representative Emmer, and what do you think are the qualities that he possesses that would make him the right person for this job?
I haven't spoken to him real recently, although I have known him well over the years. And I think, Tom is somebody who's a bona fide conservative, but he's also become a pragmatist. And so if you get into leadership and you have to function in a divided government, at some point your leader has to be pragmatic. And so he is definitely a true conservative, but he also has enough of a pragmatic streak where I think the moderates and traditional conservatives and people who want to see some stuff get done would be comfortable with him.
I guess the question being, is it a job he wants, or we just need somebody to take it at this point?
Well, I think he was quoted some years ago saying, who the heck would want this job? But in the moment, obviously, in chaos, leaders need to step up. And sometimes, history calls out the leader, and I think this is history doing that potentially for him.
As we watch all of this play out, I'm wondering your thoughts on whether it's Representative Emmer or someone else, once we have a House Speaker in place, how they coalesce the party, not just within the conference, but regain the trust, or you might say reset is a good word, get things functional with the American people to rebuild their trust. What will that take?
Well, that's a tall order. It's a great question. But, if you look at congressional approval ratings over time, they're never great, and they're particularly low now. But I think if somebody comes forward, demonstrates certainly strong views about their partisan agenda, but demonstrates some ability to work with the Senate, some ability to work with the administration to get things done that are important to the American people and still not get blown up by their own party along the way. That's a talented person or a lucky person, but I think Tom could do it. And so that's the challenge they face. But you don't just get trust, you got to earn it, and you got to go do it. Speakers don't last long for a reason. They ultimately have to compromise and their own party throws them overboard.
What about accountability in all of this? I mean, what led to the ousting of Kevin McCarthy, the rules change, the concessions that he made in January that got us to this point? Do you foresee any of that changing under an Emmer or anyone else so that we're not back in this position before the next potential government shutdown?
For a while, whoever becomes speaker will enjoy a honeymoon, a period of grace, and some momentum behind that election, and maybe a moment of unity, at least within the Republican conference. But that rule that then Speaker McCarthy, or soon-to-be Speaker McCarthy, put into place that allows any one member to call a vote on the speakership, that seed was planted, unfortunately, as a cost of him getting the speakership. And now there's dramatic opposition to repealing it. So I don't think that's going away. And so any one or a small number of people in that conference, anytime, can threaten the speaker. And I think it should at least be a threshold, a minimum threshold, maybe not a majority, but a reasonable threshold before you can threaten the speaker every other week over some vote or some personality conflict. But I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So this person's going to have to enjoy their honeymoon, so to speak, and do the most they can with it while they can.
And thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.